Well, first of all, thank you for taking the time to talk to us, Vartan. It has been too long, and hopefully we can remedy that, and I'll see you not on a screen, but in person soon. Um, we've been aware of this issue. We've been following it since January as a board. Um, and our school nurse has been in touch with local authorities since then, getting guidance on how we're going to deal with this, how we were going to deal with the coronavirus crisis. When it started to become more serious, we started as a school coming up with plans for remote learning, etc. And we actually closed our schools before New Jersey State did, in anticipation of what was coming. I'm happy to say that so far we are not aware of any of our students or any of our faculty who've been hit with this disease. So that's where we are in terms of the health and safety of our students and staff. That's always the number one concern. Obviously, this crisis has created other challenges too. Our secondary concern is the education of our children, and unfortunately, they are not at school right now. But again, our faculty has done a tremendous job of setting up a curriculum especially for the upper grades and elementary school, to make their distance from school as small of an inconvenience as possible. And so our middle schoolers are basically having their entire curriculum on the screen with their teachers, with their classmates. More important than their education during this kind of topsy-turvy time, they've also had a touchstone, Vartan. So they're able to see their friends, they're able to see their teachers, and it gives them a real sense of stability when things seem very unstable everywhere else. Our elementary school has also been dealing with this in a similar way. My second grader, for example, has classes with his classmates, with his teachers. He still has homework, and they've been doing a good job. We weren't certain how long school would be closed when we closed it. We had initially anticipated 2 weeks. It's clear now that this is going to be extended somewhat. We don't know how long. Given that, we're now focusing also on doing more for our youngest students. There's some special challenges there, because when you're a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, it's not so much the knowledge-based learning that's important, but it's the social learning. So they learn a lot from being in class. They learn not to pull their classmates' hair. They learn that when that happens, how do you apologize and how do you deal with it? So it's a lot of it's a lot of social learning, which is very hard to do online. But that being said, we're coming up with a plan to at least also give them kind of a little bit more structure, with the parents' help, give them a few assignments here and there, and to give them that connection to the school. So that's what we're doing on the education front. And I have to say, we've been hearing from parents, especially again in the upper and elementary school grades, very happy with what's been going on. And again, I think when you compare it to what other schools have been able to do, this has been a case where the size of our school has really allowed us to do far more than what public schools are able to do, which is just give packets to their kids. We've actually been having classes, and we hope to even ramp that up if we can, so that the classes are longer. So that's where we are right now, education-wise.
Is there any support you get from the state or the federal government?
As of right now, no. But the CARE Act just passed as we're speaking. I think it passed about an hour ago. It was signed into law. We're hoping that there's some, we're staying on top of it. We're hoping that there's some guidance there for us and some aid that we can get. The New Jersey has a Small Business Act. They have some things in the works. So we're staying on top of those, and we will obviously apply for whatever we have to. The third challenge, the first challenge is health and safety. Second is the education of our kids. And then finally is, making sure our school is sustainable and thriving. And that's going to be our biggest challenge. This is not only a disease that's going to affect the elderly and the infirm and the young, but it's also a disease that's going to impact the economy, and it already has seriously. What does that mean? That means certain parents might not be able to pay tuition. It means that certain parents might be too afraid to pay tuition. It might mean that next year parents may not want to enroll. Our fundraising that we had scheduled for the last 3 months of the year has all fallen through. We cannot do that fundraising. And the benefactors who you would otherwise rely on, we haven't reached out to them yet. We intend to, but the worry is that they may be, given the turmoil, may not be willing to give. So given all of those circumstances, this board has a very difficult task ahead of it in keeping the school, sustainable and keeping everyone, keeping the doors open for our students next year. I'm not saying that we can't keep the doors open, and this board has raised some money for this kind of rainy day, a reserve fund. But it would be a shame after all the work of getting that money to a place where it's slowly earning for us to dip into that, because if we do, we're back to where we were 10 years ago. And so that's where we are. The board, we were seeing a lot of optimism in terms of what was coming. Our strategic plan is in place. Our mission statement had been updated. Our NGIS accreditation just got reaffirmed, and the steps were looking up. Unfortunately, this has thrown a wrench in the works. But if there's one thing I know, it's this community kind of galvanizes when there's a crisis. So
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that will happen.
When you come to decisions, how much are you directed by the federal government or the state in making your decisions?
What kind of decisions?
Closing the school, preparing for summer, extending the school year.
So for closing the school, we did it ourselves before the state said anything. But now the state has said all schools must close.
Oh, they must close.
Yes. And they haven't given a date to reopen. So we have to wait until Governor Murphy says you can reopen the private schools. In terms of extending the school year, we're working on a plan. So, for example, if schools happen to open in mid-April, then we would extend the school year by X number of weeks, or a week. I don't know what the days are. I'm just making it up. But they're coming up. Our staff is coming up with a schedule, and we want to give parents enough notice ahead of time so that they can plan their summer accordingly.
What is your message to the community in general? Because we are concerned with the school. We enjoyed the fundraising, we enjoyed the Monte night, we enjoyed all these beautiful gatherings you would create for us. And of course, now the school is hurt. Financially, we all are being hurt, but the school is a very important institution. You speak about the sustainability of the school. And what is your message to the parents?
My message to parents is that this school has provided and will continue to provide an excellent education for their children and an excellent community for them. Every time their child, I would urge them to remember that every time their child is online and learning while we're in this crisis, while we're working from home, there is a teacher on the other end who is working very hard to prepare. There is an entire infrastructure on the other hand that's keeping all of this going, and all of that requires funds. And we're not the type of company that has months and months of cash in our bank account. So if the parents do not pay the tuition that they owe, then we will be unable to pay our teachers, and we will be unable to continue the services we're providing. And again, like I said, for some of the younger grades, we're going to try and increase those services so that the parents can see the value of what we're providing there also. So, fundraising is always important for the school and for all of our cultural institutions and educational institutions. It's doubly important during times like this. Yeah. Just like the virus impacts those that are the weakest, these economic factors will impact those institutions that aren't, multi-billion dollar, that don't have multi-billion dollar endowments. Even those institutions are getting hit hard. So I would urge everyone, I would urge the community to think about how they can help our school and the other organizations in our community.
Uh, I know your son is close to you, Aren, who's in fifth grade at Hovnanian School. Can he get on the video and tell us how he feels? Is he close by to you? Can you get him?
Yes, I'm going to have him sit here, and
Absolutely. We'll love to see him. Hi, Aren. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay, you have to speak louder, Aren, so we can hear you. What grade are you in?
I'm in fifth grade.
And have you been doing schoolwork during the crisis, the coronavirus crisis?
Yes, schools pretty much remained the same online. We have 30-minute classes. We have all the classes that we are able to do online. And we get the same schoolwork and we're learning at the same pace. I don't feel like we are missing anything. And I do feel like I'm learning the same amount that I would have learned at school. So yeah, I don't feel like anything is really missing.
Aren, do you think you're doing more work at home now that you're home? You do more work or no?
No, but you may feel like the homework is a little more, but when I do think about it, the classes are shorter. So some of the homework is the classwork that we are not being able to achieve during the short class times.
Aren, we all miss friends. We all miss getting together. We all miss people we know. How does it feel for you as a fifth grader of Hovnanian School? What do you miss?
I definitely miss being with my friends and physically speaking with them and being with them. But I'm still happy that I get to see them every day in this video chat. And we've figured out how to do this video chat well, and now sometimes our friends are just making their own video chats and we get together during times where we don't have class and just talking on our own, which is also great.
And are you following guidelines to stay clean, to wash your hands, to be socially detached, that type of thing?
Yeah, I'm following everything. I do go outside, but I try and stay away from anything that may lead to me having the virus. And then every time I come inside, I wash my hands.
Beautiful. Aren, I hope you stay safe. You do what your parents tell you to do. And hopefully we'll see you all very, very soon. And we'll enjoy life as we knew it. Thank you very much, Aren. Be good, okay? Thank you. Nazar, anything in closing? He was very, very good. Very, very good sport. You should be very proud of him. Very proud.
Thank you, Vartan. Anything in closing?
Yes.
I hope everybody stays safe. We're doing our best to keep the education going for our children and giving them some stability and structure while we're all at home during this difficult time. I want to, again, remind the community, we have a school here. It's a treasure, and that if the school ever, God forbid, has to close its doors, it's not something that we can easily replace. So I'd like everyone to think about that and think about the service that we've been able to provide for the youngsters in our community.
Nazar, we feel it's our responsibility to share your message, and I'm sure many people will hear your message. They will support the school, and they will make sure that the school will be stronger than before. And thank you very much for the time you've given us. Thank you.
Thank you, Vartan. Stay safe out there.
You're good.